Styles P, Diddy, and others call for a boycott of Verzuz. What up, words? Your boy Challz Brown back again. Another talking fact. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. CLBMG all day, every day. What have I been saying for months, right? What have I been telling you for months? And a lot of people agree, but some people are still confused. They're like, Charles, what's the problem? Every time the black man tries to get ahead, you people got something to say. Well, this is what I have to say. And a lot of people are starting to understand what I meant months ago. When they sold Verzuz, they sold out the culture, and they sold out pretty much everything about what we stand for in this hip-hop community, right? You built up something beautiful on the backs of old school, yes, old school artists. No one in those verses are current artists. No one. Everyone in any verses has music in the 90s or the 80s, right? We had people up there that had music in the 80s. We had people in there with the 70s. Didn't Earth, Wind, and Fire do a verses? Didn't Shaka Khan do a verses? Her music is in the 70s. So you built something beautiful on the back of old school music, and then you sold it to execs who have nothing to do with old school music, who immediately tried to charge for it and immediately ruined it. And now we're coming in full circle where Styles P, Diddy, and Jermaine Dupri, a couple people are saying we're done with Verzuz until they pay Timbaland and Swizz Beatz. I have a different stand on that. I'm done with Verzuz whether they pay him or not. I'm done with it whether they pay him or not, right? Diddy and Styles P are making this about paying Timbaland and Swizz Beatz, which, yes, pay them their money. They sold out enough to get it, give it to them, right? Give them their money, right? And I'm not against people making money. I'm not against people selling their products. If it's your product, sell it. If I make something beautiful and it's worth $30 million tomorrow and someone wants to buy it, I'm going to sell it to them, right? I'm going to sell it to them. That's what American commerce, that's what business is built on. Buying and selling of goods, right? But when you did it during the pandemic, when everybody was holed up in the house and they had nothing to do, and you used our love of our culture, our older veterans. Oh, I wonder who. Oh my God, Ghostface versus Raekwon. All these old veterans, you pulled them out of mothballs and you dusted them off and you made them relevant again. And they made you relevant. That's not yours to sell to a company who doesn't even pay its bills in the first place. The company was already going bankrupt before you sold it to them. So you really killed this. You killed it all together for nothing. You killed a beautiful versus is old school sound clash. It's old school battling. If they took brand new people out of nowhere that no one heard of, built verses from that, then yeah, go sell it. Do what you got to do. You took KRS, Big Daddy Kane, right? You took 112, right? You took people that people revere and put them up there and built something on the back of. You took Gucci and Young Jeezy. You put it on the back of people that already paid their dues, and then you made people like it and watch it, and then you sold that. Versus, if you can you sell Verzuz without using someone else as the main acts? Somebody famous already. You did Bone Thugs versus 666, and it was trending worldwide. Can Verzuz stand on it own? Can they say Verzuz is coming on tomorrow night and not have anyone and people watch it? No, it's on the backs of people we revere. Therefore, it was never yours to sell. Right? That's like me gathering up all my old school records and just playing them all day. And I name it. And then now it's like, oh, can we buy that? Sure, I'll sell it to you. did I just sell my invention or did I just sell the culture to these people? So at the end of the day, I feel like this once again blew up in people's faces, and now we're being asked to support. My opinion is, right, I always want people to get their money, but at the end of the day, this is karma. These guys brought this on themselves. They rushed to sell something to a company that they did not vet, that did not have the money before they even told them they was going to give it to them. They weren't paying their fighters before they even asked about Verzuz. They saw Verzuz as a cash cow to get them out of trouble. But they don't understand the culture. I could have told you, ain't no way in the world hip-hop fans going to pay no $2.99 a month to watch this. I could have told you that before you signed on the dotted line, whoever's running this thing over there at Triller. I could have told you that. But they don't know our culture. So the first thing they're thinking like, oh, Verzuz has a million people, 10 million people every time. We can monetize that. How you going to monetize it? Without charging for it. They had to charge. They had to give these guys like a promise of like 50 million because they owe them 28 mil. They said they gave them half already. So if you're promising 50 mil for something I clearly know you can't monetize quickly, Verzuz needs to be, it was supposed to be free. It's supposed to be on Instagram. You should have found a way to monetize it without losing the integrity of it being free. Verzuz wasn't going to be hot forever. You should have never even bought it in the first place. But at the end of the day, there is a boycott that people are trying to establish. Now, where it's going, I don't know, because I don't know if these people are ever going to get paid. I think Triller is a few months from going bankrupt. So I don't know if these guys are ever going to get paid. And at the end of the day, how are you going to boycott something that people don't care about no more anyway? Diddy and Jermaine Dupri are saying F Verzuz, we're going to do our own Verzuz. You could have already did that. You didn't need Verzuz to battle each other, right? So Verzuz, again, like I said, it's not proprietary. The only thing that's proprietary is that they named it. These two guys could have battled at any point, at any time they wanted to. But they're making a stance like we're going to boycott Verzuz, F Verzuz until they pay Swizz Beatz and Timbaland. To me, it's F Verzuz, period. Verzuz is not a thing. Who owns Verzuz? Why should we support Verzuz again? Let's say they pay him. Why should we support it then? Well, explain to me. Why after, if this guy writes a check, whoever owns Triller, if he writes a check tomorrow and puts it online, this is their check, go cash it now, it's yours, Timbaland and Swizz Beatz, we're sorry for the mix-up. It's settled then. It's settled now, right? What are we supposed? Oh, now we supposed to run and watch Verzuz and pay $2.99? I'm confused because I'm not doing that and I don't know who is. Right? And I'm not saying something should be free forever, but it shouldn't be charged on the people's backs. Find another way to monetize it. Right? Didn't SoundCloud have to do something different? You can pay for SoundCloud if you want, but it's a pro rate that they offer, but you don't have to. You can go on SoundCloud right now. They may throw a commercial at you, right? But you can listen to it. You can be on it. You can load music. You can do whatever you want to do without paying a fee. So they could have did the same thing for Verzuz. They could have got real creative and done something else and still made it a viable thing. But they ruined it, and now all these old school artists that was looking for their next Verzuz, talking about, oh, we're going to start doing tag team Verzuz, we're going to have two greats versus two great, all that is out the window. It's dead forever. And the simple fact that they're saying, oh, until they do right by Swizz Beatz and Timbaland, that's when you saw this as being wrong? You didn't see nothing wrong with this until these two didn't get the money that they wanted. 8 months later. There was nothing wrong with them selling it out to a white-owned company. And there was nothing wrong with them selling it to somebody who's going to make you pay for it now. There was nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with that. But then Swizz Beatz and Timbaland didn't get that check. Now we're gonna boycott it. And now we don't need it. You didn't never need it. Right? End of the day, hopefully they get their money. I like everybody to get paid. But I'm not going back to Verzuz. I don't care who they pay. Verzuz is done. And when they sold it to these people, they killed it. So we're not crying no crocodile tears because these guys didn't get their check in time. Right? What we're doing here is we're going to call stuff out early and let y'all catch up later. So when you figure out that what they did was a slap in the face to everybody who watched it and supported it and tweeted about it and commented in the comments and made it hot. They sold it, took it off Instagram and put it behind a paywall. That was whack. And I don't care who gets paid. I'm not watching it no more. All right? And on that note, CLBMG.com. I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
CLB.